It's an epidemic that took more than 33,000 lives in 2015. We're talking here about opioid abuse.
President Donald Trump now says he will declare the opioid crisis a national emergency next week. 13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee dug into the issue more. Jacqueline.
Janet, the topic at hand is scrutiny. National reports surfaced that the Drug Enforcement Administration has taken fewer actions against opioid distributors. But here on the local level, a pharmacist I spoke with said pharmacies face much more regulation.
Scott Newman, owner of Newman Pharmacy in Chesapeake, takes his job seriously.
According to the DEA, we're the gatekeepers of the medication.
But he says that responsibility has gotten a bit tougher.
More and more we're being held accountable for prescriber habits, and that's tough to police when the expectation for us and our job is to, move volume.
Newman tells me he and other pharmacies are responsible for things like checking patient databases, flagging suspicious patients, and constantly counting inventory, a responsibility he says has become more apparent given the opioid crisis.
It's certainly easier to come in here and audit my books and my documentation and, slap me on the wrist than it is to go after the drug companies that are pushing the stuff.
Newman said local pharmacies face plenty of regulations in comparison to drug distributors, something he says just isn't right.
To take care of the patients when it's appropriate, I don't believe that anybody in the whole supply chain should have any less scrutiny than anyone else. But we're the easy ones to do. We don't have the power or the lobbying or the money to keep them off of us.
And those national reports I mentioned earlier said Representative Tom Marino weakened the federal government's authority to stop companies from distributing opioids. Since then, Marino has withdrawn his name from consideration as President Trump's nominee for the nation's drug czar. Live in studio, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.